Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts back once again with another reaction. Today, guys, of course, we are checking out Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7, the final season, but hey, at least we're getting another season to wrap everything up. This is Season 7, Episode 5, Gone with a Trace. Ahsoka is back. Finally. I've been waiting patiently. I'm like, I'm glad that the show's back and the Bad Batch is cool and everything, but fucking Ahsoka, come on! And we have her back. Interestingly enough, too, the same day that we have our first episode of Ahsoka back in Star Wars The Clone Wars, apparently Rosario Dawson, which has been campaigning for a while, and people have been campaigning for years, Rosario Dawson apparently is playing Ahsoka Tano in The Mandalorian Season 2. Like, what? What? This is fucking crazy! I love the casting news. I hope it's true. I really hope so. I cannot wait to see Ahsoka in live action. This is fucking awesome. I think this is just a way of them setting up potentially Rosario Dawson playing her in a movie or something for Ahsoka. I'm not really sure, but regardless, that's fucking awesome casting, if it's true. I think it pretty much is at this point. Everyone's running it, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But we have Star Wars The Clone Wars, and I'm curious to see where we're going to see Ahsoka. Like, they've given some hints and stuff of where Ahsoka is right now currently, with the show in terms of like the panel and stuff like that, just talking about where she's at after everything that she's been through so far in the Clone Wars. I'm really excited to see her. I mean, the thing was they made a point to one of the few shots you saw from the 10th anniversary panel of the show announcing the official return with that trailer at the end. They made a point to one of the first things you see from the new season, the final season, is Ahsoka. It's in hologram form, but it's Ahsoka talking to Anakin. So they made a point to show that. So I'm really excited to see that we're going to do it here. So I'm going to stop wasting time. Let's get to now. Season 7, Episode 5, Gone with a Trace. Ahsoka is back. Let's go.
Anakin Skywalker discovered the true villain was Ahsoka's close friend, Barriss Offee.
Yeah.
I
remember
relationship with the Jedi Order. Ahsoka
that shot.
decided to walk away.
Whoa. Careful. Woo! Come on. Holy shit! That's one of the new characters.
That bike is trash.
Yeah. That's a way to say it.
I was thinking when I bought it. Who are you? I'm Trace.
Okay, Trace. The title, Gone with the Trace.
Ahsoka.
Tano.
As for your bike,
It's a big, nice ship.
that's a Nebula-class freighter.
Hmm.
Or at least it was. Good eye. Why are you helping me?
Good question.
Shouldn't I? Seemed like the right thing to do.
Okay.
You can leave if you want. I need to get out of here.
Okay.
Why? You running from something?
Yeah. Kinda. Whoa. So cinematic. Looks really good.
You know, where I come from, it's very different from here. Obviously.
Yes.
So, where do you come from anyway? You're probably better off down here. Why is that? I'm sure you have your problems up there with the Jedi running around, starting wars, policing everything. The Jedi didn't start the war. It's not safe down here, or anywhere on Coruscant. That's why I've got my ship.
Oh, you're leaving.
Make my living in the stars. Just me and my sister Rafa.
Pay me instead.
I'd back off if I were you. Stay out of this.
Now, where's my money?
Damn. Ugh. Okay, Ahsoka, where are you at?
On second thought, some help would be great.
Ooh. I love it. Oh shit.
Who is this interesting creature?
Ahsoka
My name
Tano.
is Ahsoka.
Badass.
Lovely name, Ahsoka. Ahsoka, this is my sister, Rafa Martez. I've had my fair share of run-ins with droids.
Yes,
The
you have.
majority are fine. Some are just crosswired from the start. You seem to know a lot about everything.
Yeah.
Not everything.
Well,
I still don't
true, not
understand
everything.
people. What's to know? There are good people and bad people.
Run! Oh, you knocked out your brother.
Well, good thing we put the restraining bolts on. Trace!
You didn't know that one. Oh, I recognize those things, I think. Jesus. Yeah. Damn. The guy's like, what the hell? Jesus.
Go back to... Gotta go! Trace!
Like the Incredible Hulk. Jesus. It has like no control. Ooh. Yeah, I kind of figured. Why isn't Ahsoka doing this? Oh! Hit the button. There you go. Come on. Oh, okay. Let's see what she's about to do. Yep. There you go.
We had it all under control.
Yeah, sure.
I'll do the right thing. I'll meet you at the wharf, okay? Rafa, just be smart.
She ain't gonna do the right thing. No. She's not trustworthy.
Did you tell that guy about the droids? Actually, I charged the Twi'lek double. You gave them back. You said be smart. I better go finish my speeder. You're not sticking around? I think it's for the best.
Okay. There you have it, guys. Episode 5 of the last season of the Clone Wars. Ahsoka is back. So, overall, this episode was, in my personal opinion, pretty decent. We got to see where Ahsoka was, of course, after this long period of time in terms of the timeline of the Clone Wars. And she meets up with Trace, and then, of course, we find a little bit later that she has a sister. The sister is not trustworthy at all, but Trace is sort of a mechanic. And so they set up that Trace is wanting to leave and live out in the stars in a way with that giant ship that she's working on, or modifying in a sense. And I think Ahsoka's going to go with her. I think that her and Ahsoka are going to go. I think the sister is going to stay behind because I don't trust. I forget her name, to be honest with you. But I don't trust her. Because the sister is like, she sold the droids back. She's like, well, I had to pay that guy off because he came there. So it was interesting to kind of see the dynamic of Ahsoka meeting these new people because she was trying to get a way out. And of course, the speedster, the bike, it just falls apart. And that was a crazy little scene, definitely opening up with her. And I like the fact that it was solely focused on her and there was no like cutting back with something else because they could have somehow maybe worked in another mini storyline that kind of ties in. But I like the kind of recap, if you will, of the events of before getting into Ahsoka, going into the belly, the depths of 1313, in showcasing the betrayal, showcasing her leaving the Jedi, leaving Anakin, and her finding a way to kind of not answer the question specifically about where she's from because it was asked a couple times. Where are you from? What's going on? And she's like, oh, I learned how to fight from my brother. Okay. I mean, no, did she have a brother? I'm trying to remember her. Because there's been so much story with her character. I'm trying to remember if she had family. Or I think it was Anakin that she's referring to, not her brother. And the fact that, the higher levels of Coruscant. She's like, you had to deal with the Jedi. Well, she was actually within the Jedi and shit. She used the Force once, which I was waiting for her to potentially do that, but she was finding ways to not do it. I thought maybe she was going to use it when the robot or the whatever robot it was, when Trace finally shut it off, I thought when it was falling she would use it, but she used the vehicle instead to hold on, and then eventually Force pulled them up from the edge. So for me personally, the reason why I think it's a pretty decent episode is because we're introduced to new characters, of course, but I feel like they could have done I don't know, something different. I don't know. Then again, the Clone Wars has been known to do some lighthearted, some simple stories that really are just to kind of, just show different sides of that era. Because when you look at the original, not the original, but the prequel films, they really had a hard focus on certain things. And what the Clone Wars television show has done is to really expand a lot of the characters we saw in the films and characters we did not see in the films. Of course, one instant being Ahsoka. Ahsoka was never mentioned, of course, in the prequel films because she was not created at that point. And so they found a way to coherently and not really ruin canon in a sense in terms of what the films were doing at the time. They found a way to introduce an apprentice for Anakin, but also have her exit before Revenge of the Sith. But I'm curious to see how they're going to really tie in Ahsoka in this last season, because we've been hearing that they're going to be covering some major events that do lead into Revenge of the Sith, or within Revenge of the Sith Order 66. So we'll see, but I think they handled it pretty well in terms of setting Ahsoka back up in this world. She is still in Coruscant, but she got stuck. But I think she's going to end up going with Trace and leaving Coruscant. I think that's what's going to happen. I'm not really sure. I'm curious how they're going to tie her in to Maul and tie her into being back with Anakin. It's going to be very interesting for sure. But I'm really excited for that because, I mean, this show has done so much for the lore of Star Wars, has done so much for bringing new fans into the mix because, there were a lot of Star Wars fans at the time when the prequels were coming out that really enjoyed it, but over time more and more people have a disliking of the prequels. For me, it's a mixed bag. But I feel like what the Clone Wars show has done is really expanded on so much and really has established so much that is now, of course, canon within Star Wars, the Star Wars canon and everything that's happened in the timeline. And I think Ahsoka is a major part of that. And I'm perfectly fine with him doing an episode like this that really establishes her back into the world again and back into the show. And, they're setting up some potential stuff here. I think her and Trace are going to be hanging out for a bit. I wonder I'm guessing Trace ends up going somewhere else, and of course why we just never hear from her again. I don't think she pops up in Rebels. I haven't finished the show, so I don't know, but who knows? But I don't think so, since she's being introduced here, and it seems like she's a new character, so I don't think she pops up again at any point right now. But overall, pretty decent. I do want to quickly, briefly cover again the Rosario Dawson potential casting of Ahsoka, because it really ties in. I'm really excited to see how she'll portray her, if this is true, if this is what's happening, because when I think of Ahsoka, I hear Ashley Eckstein, who voices the character. I don't hear anybody else's voice. It's going to be interesting to hear Rosario Dawson voice Ahsoka. I don't think she's going to try to find a way to do a impression of Ashley Eckstein voicing Ahsoka. I think she's just going to do a voice that maybe kind of matches her own voice, maybe finds a different voice to go with. But I think it's going to be a thing to where she's not going to try to sound like Ashley Eckstein as Ahsoka. Well, we'll see how it ties into The Mandalorian and what's happening with that. I'm really curious because, Dave Filoni's involved. It kind of makes sense that Ahsoka's going to come into the mix in The Mandalorian. It makes sense. I think that it may be setting up a potential Ahsoka live-action show, which would be awesome, or a movie. We'll see. But yeah, I'm really excited for that. That's potential to be awesome for sure. So, what do you guys think of this episode of The Clone Wars? I'm curious to know. Let me know in the comment section below, guys. I will talk to you guys soon.